big band, band. Perché?
Okay folks, good afternoon to you all and welcome on board. As you see folks, we've left the Westminster Pier for your journey this afternoon. We're going downriver to the Tower of London, and then for many of you we'll be carrying on down to the Royal Borough of Greenwich. Folks, before we get going any further, we'll let you know what we're doing now. We've just got a brief stop at Waterloo. We've got a few other passengers joining the boat, and then we'll be off down to the Tower of London, and then we say to Greenwich. Alright? Now when we leave this pier folks, we are going to be required to give a short safety announcement, which is a requirement, a regulation here on the river. We have to mention a few things about the boat, the equipment we carry. In the meantime, is everybody happy? Very good, lovely. Soapy stays dry for us on the way down. Now on the top there we've got to be careful with the babies, alright, because we do get rocked about by passing boats. It's not a playground out here folks anymore. It gets a bit rough here some days. We get rocked about by these fast passing boats, so we've got to be careful, especially the little babies, alright? We don't want to see any accidents. When we get going folks, well before we get going, if anybody wants any refreshment, there is a bar downstairs in the lower saloon. We've got toilets down below as well. If anybody wants to stand during the journey with a video camera or anything like that, you can stand at the back and then you're not interfering with anybody else's views, okay? Just be careful folks, we're coming alongside this pier. There might be a little bit of a bump, but we'll be getting underway very shortly. Now for any of our visitors on the boat who are not too fluent in English, we do have an audio guiding system on this boat. It's a recorded commentary. You've got headsets, a little device, and plays a little commentary for you. Points out buildings and items of interest along the way. And if you wish, ending town. From Teddington Lock down to the estuary, 45 miles downriver, we're in the tidal river. A rise and fall of tide between 18 and 26 feet of water. It's low tide now folks. You still get lovely views as we go down the river. And if you wish, as we've said, folks, now we're not guides on this boat. We're here to take you in this boat safely up and down the river. But we don't mind standing here with you and giving these live commentaries, passing on a bit of our local knowledge. As I said, folks, I do apologise. I'll only do it in the London version of English, but we can talk to you if you wish. Is this okay, folks? Okay, well, we'll try our best for you. And to the right, we have the very popular Londra. Now, this wheel goes round nice and slowly at 1 mile per hour, taking 30 minutes to do the whole rotation. Costing £20 though, which is quite expensive, isn't it? 32 capsules on there, but it is a great way to see London on the quick. And especially of a night time, you get up there of an evening, London. Keep waving, keep smiling. He's not going to wave, he's miles away, look, he's on another planet. She's alright, all that. Nice footbridges there, folks. Keep waving at the back, you're not through yet. Look at that.
Hallelujah.
Just look back at that bridge, folks. Look at the arches on that. On the right is the Royal Festival Hall, one of the finest concert halls in the whole of Europe today. And famous people like Vera Lynn, and nice on the inside. Offices of IBM to the right as well. International Business Machines. That's the second ugliest building in London. Look at the river wall on the left. You can see the lions' heads on the good spring tides. You get the wrong weather conditions, strong easterly breeze. The water comes up higher than prediction. Sometimes you'll see the lions drinking the river water. That's when you get the good eye tides. The Wellington to the left, a livery hall for the company of master mariners. Bless you. For the company of master mariners, retired sea captains. Prince Charles is a member. And looking down at the river, with all the boats running up and down, the tide continuously ebbing and flooding, it disturbs the muddy bed. It looks dirty, but it's now one of the cleanest industrial rivers in Europe today. And have a look over to the right. We do have some very nice beaches here in London. Look at this, folks, look, London's own Riviera. Who needs the Seychelles or the Bahamas? Look, we've got that at home, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. That's something you didn't think you'd see today. Look, a grown man building a sandcastle here in London. This large red brick building is Stamford Wharf, an old refrigeration warehouse. And it's where they used to make OXO, the small gravy granule stock cube. Look at the tower on the roof of the building. The windows spell out the word OXO, advertising the product made here years ago. And I'm told in the olden days, before decimalisation, there was choices, there's all sorts being constructed along here. And if you do walk along here, folks, there's a riverside pub here that we like to mention. The name of this pub is called Doggett's Coat and Badge. The name is associated to the history of the River Thames and us watermen and lightermen on the river. Doggett's Coat and Badge is a rowing race. It's been rowed for over 300 years now. When we finish our apprenticeships, if we trained hard enough, we can have a go at Doggett's Coat and Badge. It's rowed in a single sculling boat. Now it's difficult to keep your balance in these little boats and then race from London Bridge up to Chelsea, a distance of 4.5 miles. It's 3 times further than any Olympic events. Have a walk in there, folks. Bit of history about the old Doggett's Coat and Badge. These are the Blackfriars bridges. Blackfriars Road Bridge. It was opened by Queen Victoria in 1869. And that bridge is London's second oldest bridge today. The red columns, the remains of the Londra railway bridge, and that was the first railway built over the river. It became unsafe and was closed for safety reasons. Just be careful, we're being rocks a bit here, so it tells about the rocket. And also here is Blackfriars Railway Bridge. Now looking back at that bridge there, folks, you can see it's a new station on top of the old Victorian bridge. A great piece of engineering carried out there, building a new station on the old bridge there. A massive improvement to the Blackfriars Rail network. We have another riverside pub that we like to mention, the Founder's Arms on the right. Lovely sitting there of the evening time with the lovely views across the river. And we look to the left now, ladies and gentlemen, St Paul's Cathedral in the City of London. It took 35 years to build, and it stands 365 feet high. The height for that building representing 1 foot for each day of the year. Many of the country's national heroes are buried in St Paul's. People I'm sure you've heard of: the Duke of Wellington, Horatio Lord Nelson, and the architect himself, Sir Christopher Wren. Now, ladies and gentlemen, with the price of property in London today, St Paul's Cathedral, it's just over 300 years old. It cost £750,000 to construct. A colossal sum of money today, in them times, unbelievable amount of money. No expense spared though with St Paul's Cathedral. Wave to the people here, folks. The Millennium Footbridge, and better known as the Wibbly Wobbly Bridge over this river. It's been strengthened, it's perfectly safe now, but on opening day, too many people on the bridge tipped from side to side, hence the nickname. That's the Wibbly Wobbly Bridge over this river. What's that, mate? On the right here, look, we see a round white timber, and still doing it till the end of September, Taming of the Shrew, one of the famous Shakespearean plays. Does anybody like Shakespeare? Quite a few of you. Some of you haven't heard of him. Well, he's very famous, ladies and gentlemen, and he spent most of his working life here in Bankside on the right. He came to London, got into partnership with some other people, and in 1599 they brought the Globe Theatre to Bankside. It was the entertainment area of London, and here we had theatres, taverns, brothels and cruel sports, bear baiting, dog fighting, cock fighting, all traditional sports here years ago. It was all here on the right. As we come down through Southwark Bridge, you see the Financial Times building, and that's where the Globe Theatre of Shakespeare stood 400 years ago. You can come down onto these shores today, find things from the past. You can see some people scratching around here looking for something. People find coins, bits of old pottery, all sorts of bits washed up today. A very old tavern to the right, the Anchor Tavern at Bankside. Now, over the years, the likes of Dr. Johnson, Samuel Pepys, William Shakespeare, Charles Dickens, all used that pub in the past. In recent times, Tom Cruise, the famous Hollywood film star, and myself, we've all been in that pub, folks. Try and use the Anchor Tavern. I can vouch for it. It's a nice pub. The old warehouses on the right, mainly apartments today, which were used for storing general cargo years ago. Pickford's Wharf is a riverside pub today, a working wharf in its day. And for the children, the sailing ship in the dock on the right is a real ship. It's a replica of Sir Francis Drake's old ship, the Golden Hind. And you can go on that boat, look around and see what life would have been like for the real Elizabethan pirates. And there was 80 of them on there, 80 cutthroat sailors living and working on that little ship. 80 of them. They was at sea for months on end, ladies and gentlemen, and they became extremely close friends, if you know what I mean. And London Bridge we're now going beneath. Now this one is open. And then we've got the Belfast on the right, HMS Belfast. She's moored permanently, a museum to former naval sea power. She served with great distinction through the Second World War and last fired the guns in anger during the Korean War. The main gunnery on the Belfast, 12 6-inch guns, 6 forward, 6 aft, each capable of firing a 100-weight shell 14 land miles. Her action of note came on Boxing Day, Christmas 1943. She was involved in the chasing, the shelling, the eventual sinking of the famous German battleship, the Scharnhorst. The Belfast was engaged in that battle. And all these buildings along on the right are obviously office buildings. There's some shops and there's entertainment over there. If you walk down here one evening, folks, they've got some nice little bars there and entertainment as well. City Hall. City Hall on the right is the new round building on the right. Sorry about blowing you, folks, it's a sound signal we are required to blow when we're turning the boat round. There's Tower Bridge, the gateway to London. Opened 1894 by the then Prince of Wales. The famous thing about this bridge is the roadway opens up. It allows shipping into this section of the River Thames. The basculae of the bridge have been raised successfully many times. It has only failed to open on a few occasions. Now it's been a bit quiet this week, which is unusual. It's normally quite busy this time of year, but Tower Bridge will be opening tomorrow if you're interested at 9:30. A lovely side-on view, folks. Here now, folks, so we'll conclude the commentary now, but it's very important that we just stay seated as we berth the boat, because if we catch a bit of wash off one of these fast boats as we're coming in the pier, if you're on your feet, you'll lose your balance and you might fall over. So just stay seated. It'll be 2 minutes, boys, and we'll be alongside the pier. Don't want to see any accidents. If you're going to Greenwich, then stay on the boat. This boat will continue on to Greenwich very shortly. If you wish to have the shorter journey and return to Big Ben as soon as possible, then you've got to leave this boat and go to boarding point B for a connecting boat back. If you come to Greenwich and back with us, you're going to be another 2 hours before we get back to Big Ben. You can rejoin buses up on the main road. And on the way back from Greenwich, which will be in an hour and a half's time, an hour and 30 minutes, we do stop at the Tower on the return journey. And we'd like to thank you all for your very kind attention. And I do realise that there are many of you from distant shores, but we're all sat and listened, and I hope that everybody has understood something that we've said for the past 30 minutes. We hope that the live commentary has made a difference to everybody's journey. But folks, we do like to conclude with a little word about this commentary that we've given. Now, as we said, we're not guides on here, we're crew, licensed watermen. We're here to take you in the boat safely up and down the river. But hopefully what we've done by mentioning what we have has added to the journey and saved it from being a mission.
Did you feel that?
Non-stop.
Nice
And you get out and another one. Yeah, I'm looking for the same, but I'm not going to go for 3 to 60 out like that. I know.
Altitude 64. A story.
Che mi è saltato le orecchie. Due volte.
È una buona vista, dai. Vedete che non sono politici, gli altri che era spesso. Sono i palazzi che non li giardini, sono
I've never had them.
Ja, aber so wie beim Restaurant ist es hier, so wie hier ist es nicht im Restaurant.